Hello there, you're on the Heart of Reddit channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Get your popcorn ready and enjoy. You're firing me because the uniform you forced only me to wear flatters me. Okay, bye. My first job out of school was as a language teacher in a private school, and it sounds like it's straight out of a fiction book. I was employed to teach grades 6 to 9. However, because I was the only teacher for that language, the owner begged me to teach grade 1 to 5 when I had any time to spare. I wasn't paid for the extra work. I taught each of the classes I was employed to teach twice a week, and the other classes once a week. Aside that, lunch duties were added to my work, so I hardly sat all day. The school had a preschool at a different location, and all the teachers there wore uniforms. The preschool workers, all females, were the only ones required to wear uniforms. I was the only female teacher on the grade 1 to 9 staff. One day, the owner calls me to her office and asks me why I'm not in a uniform like the preschool staff. I tell her no one informed me about wearing uniforms in my department, and also the male teachers do not wear uniforms. She gets slightly angry and orders me to sew one with my own money. I try to protest, but I see there is no way getting through to her. My parents convince me to let it go and sew one. When she sees me in the uniform, she goes off about how figure flattering the uniform is on me. Tells me I'm trying to seduce the boys. She orders me to sew a new one or don't come back. My uniform was not short, way below the knee, didn't show cleavage, nor was it tight. I ignore her and she fires me a week later, while I'm in the middle of a class. I just packed my stuff and left. The next day, the principal calls me to tell me the owner is asking why I didn't show up that day. You fired me? She calls me herself and orders me to come back to work, talking about how do I expect the kids to eat lunch? Good luck finding a donkey like me to work for that pittance. Why did you schedule this call on my off hours? Day off, attending a hazard reduction burn. So out in the bush with a fire truck, suited up and running around like a happy pyromaniac. I get a phone call from work. I answer and get told I must be present for a virtual meeting, scheduled for 10 minutes time for a training on a system I already know. As I had been using it for the past 6 months at a venue, I remind them that it is my day off, and my manager speaks with the tone of, do it, or you are fired. Alrighty then. First strike. Manager is late to their own meeting. The meeting eventually starts, and I have connected by my phone and Bluetooth earphones. My camera and mic are off because of the noise. The other firefighters are having a chuckle at my expense. Then my manager insists I turn my camera and mic on, otherwise they will mark me as absent. Alrighty then. I stand in a spot where the fire will roar up behind me. Somewhat safely and turn my phone camera and mic on. The rest of the firefighters go nuts with the radio chatter as the people in the virtual meeting see yours truly masked up, full ensemble with the noise of fire roaring up behind him, the sound of the pump and the panicking radio chatter. I then end the call. Manager then begins to frantically ring, as she thinks she has just seen one of her better team members go up in flames. They never scheduled training on my days off after that. Jumped ship to a competitor 2 months later. Want strict work hours? Okay, can do. Felt that engineers were being too lax with their time. The edict went out that all engineers had to be in their seats exactly at start time. I told my boss that I was not planning on complying because I was a salaried professional and expected to be treated as such, and that if they didn't trust me to put in an honest week's work, then they should fire me instead of micromanage me. The older, and much wiser, engineers took a different approach. They all showed up 5 minutes early to make sure they were in their seats at 8:30, but also set an alarm for 5 p.m., and would literally drop everything they were doing exactly at 5 p.m. and leave the building. Is the manager having a meeting that was supposed to end at 5 but is running a little late? No. At 5 p.m. a series of alarms would go off and everyone would stand up in the middle of the meeting to leave. Does operations need technical support at 4:55? They have exactly 5 minutes on the phone with the engineer before he will have to get off the phone. Is someone trying to discuss a work-related issue at 8:28? Better wait a couple minutes because no one in the engineering department is answering work-related questions for another 2 minutes. Needless to say, the policy didn't last very long.